The spiral's lament. The arrival. The air in Ho Chi Minh City was thick with the scent of rain and motorbike exhaust. As Minh stepped off the bus onto Turn Heo Street. The year was 2025, but the old apartment building at number 727 loomed like a relic from a forgotten era. Its faded yellow facade, streaked with mold, seemed to absorb the neon glow of the city rather than reflect it. Minh adjusted his backpack, his camera equipment clinking softly inside, and stared up at the 10-story structure. He'd come here chasing a story of freelance journalists, gambled to uncover something extraordinary. The rumors about 727 had reached him through cryptic forum posts and late-night whispers. In District 1's dive bars, a suicide, a curse, and 7 virgin girls whose souls were supposedly bound to the building's bones. Minh wasn't a believer in ghosts, but he was a believer in clicks. A good creepypasta, backed by grainy photos and a chilling narrative, could go viral. He'd rented a room on the 7th floor for a month, dirt cheap because no one else wanted it. The landlord, a wiry man with eyes that darted like trapped flies, had warned him to avoid the spiral staircase at night. "It's old," he'd said, his voice low. "Creaks. People hear things." Minh had nodded, suppressing a grin. Perfect material. His apartment, 7B, was a cramped box with peeling wallpaper and a single window overlooking the alley below. The air inside was stale, heavy with the ghost of cigarette smoke. As he unpacked, the sounds of the city filtered in honking scooters, distant karaoke, but there was something else, faint and irregular. A soft, rhythmic thud, like a heartbeat, pulsed through the walls. Minh paused, listening. It stopped. He chalked it up to plumbing and set up his laptop, ready to document his first night. That night, he lay awake, the city's hum a restless lullaby. At 2:17 a.m., he heard it, a sob, soft and broken, drifting from the hallway. He sat up, heart quickening. It wasn't the sound of a neighbor crying through thin walls. It was too clear, too close, as if someone stood just outside his door. He grabbed his phone, switched on the flashlight, and cracked the door open. The hallway was empty, its flickering fluorescent lights casting jagged shadows. The sobbing stopped. Minh stepped out, his bare feet cold against the cracked tiles, and followed the silence toward the spiral staircase at the end of the corridor. The staircase was a relic, a wrought iron monstrosity that coiled up through the building's core. Its steps were worn smooth, the railings rusted. Minh shone his light down its center, the beam swallowed by darkness. He listened. Nothing. But as he turned to leave, a shadow flickered on the wall, below a fleeting silhouette. Too tall, too thin, its edges blurring like smoke. His breath caught. He aimed his phone's camera and snapped a photo, the flash blinding in the dimness. The image showed nothing but empty stairs. Back in his room, Minh reviewed the footage. The photo was blank, but his audio recorder, left running on his desk, had picked up something. A faint whisper, layered beneath the city's noise. 7, 7. It repeated, the voice neither male nor female, dry as old paper. He played it again, his skin prickling. It wasn't enough for a story yet, but it was a start. The whispers. Over the next week, Minh explored 727, his camera always ready. The building was a maze of contradictions. Families lived here, their laughter echoing in the courtyard, but the upper floors felt abandoned, their hallways thick with dust and silence. He interviewed tenants, most of whom dismissed the rumors as urban legend. "Old buildings creak," said Mrs. Lan, a grandmother on the 3rd floor. "People make stories to scare themselves." But her eyes flicked toward the staircase when she spoke, and she clutched a jade amulet around her neck. On the 5th night, Minh heard the sobbing again, louder this time, accompanied by a faint tapping, like fingernails on wood. He followed it to the staircase, where the air grew colder, heavier, as if the building itself was holding its breath. At the base of the spiral, he found a small door he hadn't noticed before, half hidden behind a pile of broken chairs. It was locked, the handle rusted shut. He pressed his ear to the wood and heard a low hum, almost a chant, vibrating through it. His recorder caught it, a chorus of voices, overlapping, unintelligible, but unmistakably female. Minh's research deepened. Online, he found fragments of the building's history. In 1972, a woman named Hyun had lived in 7B, his apartment. She'd been a seamstress, quiet, reclusive. One night, she'd leaped from the roof, her body found in the alley below. The official report called it suicide, but forum posts claimed she'd been driven mad by voices, by shadows that followed her up the spiral staircase. The rumor about the 7 girls was murky as some said they were sacrifices, their souls bound to the building by a ritual to trap high-end spirit. Others said they were her sisters, her daughters, her ghosts. Min cross-referenced names, dates, anything he could find, but the records were incomplete, lost in the chaos of the war years. He started sleeping with the lights on. The sobbing came every night now, always at 2:17 a.m., always from the staircase. He set up a motion sensor camera in the hallway, but it caught nothing, just static. Then a blackout at exactly 2:17. His photos showed streaks of light, faint outlines that could be tricks of the lens or something else. He posted a teaser on his blog, hinting at the curse, and the comments exploded. Fake. Photoshop. Go down to the basement. The basement. That locked door. The descent. On the 10th night, Min decided to break into the basement. He borrowed a crowbar from a neighbor, claiming he needed to fix a pipe. The door was stubborn, but it gave way with a groan, revealing a narrow staircase descending into darkness. The air was damp, sour with mildew. His flashlight beam danced across concrete walls, revealing graffiti names, dates, and strange symbols that looked like eyes, spiraling inward. The humming was louder here, a chorus of whispers that seemed to come from the walls themselves. At the bottom, he found a room, its ceiling low, its walls lined with cracked mirrors. In the center was a stone slab, stained dark, like an altar. Min's heart pounded as he approached. The mirrors reflected his flashlight, but not his face. Each showed a different woman, their eyes hollow, their mouths moving silently. He spun around, expecting to see someone behind him, but the room was empty. The whispers grew louder, forming words. You see us, you hear us, you join us. Min stumbled back, his flashlight flickering. The sobbing started again, not from the mirrors but from above, from the spiral staircase. He ran, the crowbar clanging against the steps as he climbed. The staircase seemed to stretch, the turns multiplying, the walls closing in. Shadows danced at the edge of his vision. 7 figures, their hair long and tangled, their hands reaching. He burst into the hallway, slamming the door behind him, and collapsed in his apartment, his breath ragged. The next day, Min tried to leave 727. He packed his bag, booked a bus ticket, but as he reached the building's entrance, his legs refused to move. It wasn't fear, it was as if the air itself held him, thick and unyielding. He tried again the next day, and the next, but each time, he found himself back at the spiral staircase, staring down into its depths. His dreams were haunted by the women in the mirrors, their faces shifting into his own. The twist. On the 15th night, Min found a journal hidden under a floorboard in 7B. His pages were brittle, the ink faded, but the handwriting was clear. She wrote of the voices, the shadows, the ritual. She hadn't been cursed. She'd been the one casting it. Hyan had been a medium, hired by the building's original owner to buy in 7 spirits to the structure, to protect it from collapse during the war. The girls weren't sacrifices, they were her apprentices, their souls willingly tethered to the spiral staircase, their cries a warning to intruders. But Hyan had miscalculated. The ritual had trapped her too, her spirit fracturing into the mirrors, her voice in the walls. Min realized the truth. The building wasn't haunted by victims. It was alive, a vessel for Hyan and her 7, feeding on curiosity, on fear. Every tenant who stayed too long, who asked too many questions, became part of it. The sobbing, the shadows, they weren't warnings, they were bait. He tried to burn the journal, but the pages wouldn't catch fire. He tried to leave again, but the staircase seemed to follow him, its spiral appearing in every hallway, every dream. On the 20th night, he set up his camera one last time, live streaming to his blog. I'm going to end this, he said, his voice trembling. He descended the staircase, crowbar in hand, determined to destroy the altar. The stream cut out at 2:17 a.m. His followers watched as the screen filled with static. Then a fleeting image, Min's face, reflected in a mirror, his eyes hollow, his mouth moving silently. The whispers filled the audio. 7. Epilogue. 727 turn. HEO still stands, its yellow facade a little more faded each year. New tenants move in, drawn by the cheap rent, unaware of the rumors. The spiral staircase creaks, the sobbing echoes at 2:17 a.m., and the mirrors in the basement wait. Min's blog is gone, his equipment found abandoned in 7B. But sometimes, Late at night, a new post appears on obscure forums, a grainy photo of a spiral staircase, a shadow with too many arms, and a caption. Do you hear them? The building counts its souls. 8 now, but always room for more.